Hello. So one of you asked that I pretty please swatch some of the single eyeshadows that I have from Sydney Grace. I have swatched their Sweet Indulgence palette, their Summer Days palette, and the Enduring Love palette throughout my videos, but I have not swatched the single shadows that I have. Now I will say that my single shadows are pretty much all neutral. So if you are looking to build a neutral, kind of everyday, quick sort of palette, this might be a great video for you. So if you're looking to do like 6 shades, 12 shades, you're gonna have some that I talk about that you probably want in your little palette that you make. A couple of things. One is that the Sydney Grace single eyeshadows are $5, but they do have pressed pigments, and those are $6. So when I come across any of the pressed pigments, I will let you know. And if I don't say anything, then they are just an eyeshadow, but I'll be sure to say whether or not something is a pressed pigment. So look out for that. The other thing is that some of the shadows that I purchased, I did purchase in bundles. And I've looked to see what bundles are still available, and like, they're not available. So one of them that I purchased was called the Raspberry Kiss bundle. And so that has a lot of like pinks and mauves and things like that. Although the bundle isn't available, the eyeshadows that were in the bundle are available. How many times can I say bundle? So those shadows are still there. They're just not like packaged together. And actually Sydney Grace, their website has like, you know, the name of the shadow, and then it'll say this was part of our Raspberry Kiss bundle. So if you are interested in that, that's something good to pick up. And then the other one is the collab that Kinky Sweat, Kelsey Brianna J, and Glam Girl Chelsea did with Sydney Grace. They picked out, I think it was 5 shades, and so I'll let you know what those are. Again, that bundle isn't there anymore, but the shades are, except for one that I'll tell you about. Let's see. Other than that, I think that's it. So let me just show you the palette, the large palette, magnetic palette I have. Here is the large palette, and this has all of my single shadows except for the more colorful ones that I just got, like last week. Those are in my 12 pan palette, the medium size, whatever that is right now. So I'm gonna go ahead. What I'll do is I will give you the shade name, show you the shade, obviously, swatch it on my hand because I know that's gonna be helpful for folks who want to see these swatches on a deeper skin tone. So gonna go ahead and get started. As always, I have some notes because, you know, that's how I roll. Let's see. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in. The other thing I didn't mention is that if you want like a way more extensive swatch of the Sydney Grace eyeshadow palettes or singles, you definitely want to watch the Fancy Face. Tina does an amazing job at giving you information about eyeshadows, doing swatches, giving you history about it. So she swatched like all of the shadows that she has, and she has more of the colors and things like that. So if you want something beyond the neutrals, then you definitely want to check out the Fancy Face. Now the first shadow I have is called Tippy Taupe. This is said to be a medium neutral matte brown. It is pretty light on me. And I think the thing, oh, my mom is calling, hold on. Child. My mother talked for so long. How long did she talk for? We talked about everything. I'm like tired now. Okay, so let me get back to the swatches. Okay, so let me go ahead and start over. Ma'am, can you not do that right there? Yeah, thank you. Okay, child. The first shade is Tippy Taupe. Now this shade is said to be a medium neutral matte brown. I know I'm redoing this one because I don't know what happened. There, that one is. This one is one that they say can be used to recreate one of the shades in the Natasha Denona Biba palette. Rosé. She's literally behind me. The next one here is Dark Chocolate. This one is a deep chocolate brown matte. This is said to be one that can be a dupe for the ABH Jackie Aina palette. One of the shades in there. Oh God, I didn't know cats were this hilarious. This one is Amber. This is a warm brown, and this is a pressed pigment. So I mentioned that the pressed pigments are $6 rather than $5. And this is one that's also said to be similar to the shades in the Natasha Denona Biba palette. Rosé. I know you're not supposed to be in here, first of all. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to a human child. Okay, so here is Amber. Here we have Morning Star, and this is said to be a light gold shimmer. Now, this one is also a pressed pigment, and it is said to be a dupe for one of the shadows in the ABH Jackie Aina palette, and also it was part of the collab that Kelsey, Chelsea, and Alicia did. So there is Morning Star. The next shade is Lords A-Leaping. This one is a deep red brown matte. This one is another one that was in the collab with Kelsey, Chelsea, and Alicia. Oh, actually. So there is that shade. The next shade is Laughter. This is said to be a light pink with brown undertone. This is one that I purchased in the Raspberry Kiss bundle. So there is that shade. Here we have Keep Smiling. This is a dark brown with a warm undertone. This was also part of the Raspberry Kiss bundle that I bought. Rosé, Rosé. Don't be, girl. And here is that shade. This is Dream Big, and this one is a dark burgundy satin. This was also part of the Raspberry Kiss bundle that I purchased. There is that one. This shade is Solomon. This is said to be a deep red brown matte. This was part of the collection with Chelsea, Kelsey, and Alicia. This is actually one of the shades that I have two of because it was in that bundle and I had already had this shade. So partly that is what prompted me to list all of my individual shadows to make sure that that does not happen again. That shade also, Solomon, this is one that would be comparable to shades in the Natasha Denona Biba palette. This next shade here is called Chocolate Raspberry Fudge. It is a chocolate brown with red undertones, and it's one that would be comparable to shades in the Natasha Denona Biba palette. This shade is called Blushed, and it is a pressed pigment. It is a dusty rose metallic, and it's said to be comparable to shades in the Natasha Denona Biba and the Jackie Aina and ABH palette. Here is Paris. This one is a pinky bronze. It is one that was in the collab with Chelsea, Kelsey, and Alicia. It is also a pressed pigment, and it's no longer available. But you can definitely find other like pinky bronze colors. These two are kind of similar. This one is just a bit deeper. Here is Aim High. This one is said to be a light pink satin. It is a pressed pigment, and it was also part of the Raspberry Kiss bundle that I bought long ago. There is that one. Here is Shine Bright. This is a pressed pigment. It's described as a medium pink metallic, and it was part of the Raspberry Kiss bundle that I bought long ago. There is that shade. Here is Trust. It is a medium pink with a red undertone, and this was also part of the Raspberry Kiss bundle that I bought. These two look great together. Here is Peanut Butter. This one is a warm matte brown with an orange undertone, and this was part of the collab with Chelsea, Kelsey, and Alicia. When they talked about this shade, they did say that this would be a great transition shade for someone with a lighter complexion. And then for deeper complexions, it could be just sort of an all over the lid kind of shade that you pair with maybe like a bronzer or a deeper brown, just for like a natural glam look. Here is Toffee. This is a medium brown with a yellow undertone, and it's one that can be used to dupe some of the Natasha Denona Biba palette shades. Here is that shade. Now we have Moon Landing. This is a medium cool gray matte. This one is also one that can be used to dupe some of the Natasha Denona Biba shades. Oh, I ran out of space. My bad, I didn't realize. And there is that one. This one is Treasure All, and it's unavailable, but it is sort of a cool matte brown. And this one barely shows up on me. So for deeper skin tones, Something like this would be a great transition shade. Here is Role Model. This is said to be a red with purple undertone. This shade is called Be Kind. It is a raspberry metallic pressed pigment, and it was also part of the Raspberry Kiss bundle I bought long ago. So those are very similar. The difference is that this is more of a metallic finish, while this one I would say is more of a satin finish. Here is Caramel. This is a warm matte with orange undertones. This is one that is similar to shades in the Natasha Denona Biba palette, as well as the ABH and Jackie Aina palette. Here is Tangerine. This is a deep orange matte with a yellow undertone, and it's also one that is similar to shades in the Natasha Denona Biba palette. Here is Turtle Dove. Actually, Turtle Doves. It is a champagne shimmer, also a pressed pigment, and one that is said to be similar to shades in the Natasha Denona Biba palette. This is Summer Magic. It is described as a light peach matte. It's another one that's said to be similar to shades in the Biba palette. Here is Tiara. This is a taupe shimmer. It's a pressed pigment and similar to shades in the Natasha Denona Biba palette. This is Midnight. It is a deep black matte, another one that can be found in Biba and honestly, some other palettes. This is Purple Sky. It is also a pressed pigment, and it's sort of like a lavender or purple with like blue reflex. But let me know if you see something else in there. Here is Mom Ride. This is one that is a medium neutral matte brown, and it is another one that is similar to shades in the Biba palette. Another great transition shade for deeper skin tones. This is Desert Sun. It is also a pressed pigment, and to me, this is sort of like an orangey red shimmer. And lastly, we have the Ballet. This is another pressed pigment. This is sort of like a pinky red shimmer. There is that one. So those are all of the neutral single shadows that I have. I do have some on my eyes today. Zoom in a little bit more so you can see. I have Paris on the lid, and I deepened it up with dark chocolate, and then I used Tippy Taupe to blend everything out. Okay, I think that's it. I hope that was helpful. If you have other eyeshadow palettes or anything that you want me to swatch on a deeper skin tone, just let me know. And if I have it, I will, as long as I have time to do so. For reference, I wear the shade 450 in the Fenty Original Matte Foundation, Longwear Foundation. I also wear, kind of go between shades for the NARS Soft Matte. I go between New Caledonia and Manaz. And when I'm like a deeper tone from Sun, then that one I think was Iguaku. And let's see, if you're looking like the drugstore Ulta places, then in the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Foundation, I wear the shade 16. Let's see what other ones are in here. And again, for NARS, but the Naturally Radiant, I go between the shades already mentioned, New Caledonia and Manaz, and for deeper times, Iguaku. Oh, lastly, in the Too Faced Born This Way matte foundation, I wear the shade Tiramisu. I think that's about it. Hopefully this was helpful if you're looking for some neutrals. The other thing I forgot to say, these shadows are soft, so it does make them buttery, but also like if you have long nails or you just accidentally scrape your finger across one, it's gonna be a mess. They do easily press right back into the pan, into the shape, but that's something to think of as you're picking these up. They are just super duper soft, especially the pressed pigments, but also the mattes, like all of them are just soft. Okay, so I think that's it for the 12th time that I've said that. I hope this was super helpful and I will see you next time.